Hello children, in this video we will be doing narrating an experience, that is narrating the experience that you have experienced in your life. So some of the common topics that can be asked are a childhood event, okay, like where you might have had your events, okay, something that might have happened in your childhood, that kind of thing. Then achieving a goal, a failure, a good or a bad deed, a change in your life. So when you're reading all this, you might have understood that these are all experiences of a lifetime. It is a report of connected events, real or imaginary, presented in a sequence of written words or still or moving images. Now, how is narrating an experience different from story writing? So narrating an experience is a fact, okay. Most of the time it is all that you write from your past life. Like, say for the example, we have so many examples here, like childhood event. So a childhood event is something which you will think about your past, your childhood, and write, okay. That is a fact, it has happened with you. Even achieving a goal is a fact, okay. Whereas story writing is something as a fiction, where you imagine everything. It is from the characters, from the plot to the place where the story is going to be taking place. So that is why this is the difference between a story and an experience. Now, how to write a narrative type of content or narration? So remember, you should narrate an experience in such a way that one relives the entire experience, and it should be written in such a manner that it teaches a lesson to the readers. Okay, so like suppose you're writing about your childhood, okay, an event that took place in your childhood. So when you're writing it, write in a way that you are reliving that thing, okay, when you experienced it when you were a child. You should focus on helping readers to visualize everything in their minds that's written on the paper so as to get into details, which will aid readers to understand what you are aiming at your purpose of writing. So children, when you are writing the experience, okay, narrating your experience, it should be in such a way that the person or the teacher who will read your experiences should be influenced or should be inspired of what you have written. Steps: divide your plot into 3. Okay, the first is setup. You should know how you're going to start. Okay, then the main part. So what is the main part of your narrating your experience? Then the thrilling conclusion. So how are you going to conclude your experience? So these are the 3 parts that you need to remember. Describe each one of them briefly in the body and end with an unpredictable twist and a delightful punchline if possible. So while writing your experience as well, just as the story, you need to keep it very unique, okay, and it should be very surprising, and there should be some punchlines. Why? Because when someone is reading it, it should be very engaging. Things to keep in mind. So, first person narration. The narrative is very personal, so it is common to use I statements without switching a perspective in favor of another person. That means when you're writing your experience, it should be I, okay, I have done this thing. You're writing about your own experience, right? So that is why it should be from the first person. Whereas when you're writing story writing, it is in the second person, okay, you're writing as a second person, that is you're writing about somebody else, okay, you have not experienced it, you are imagining about something else, some other characters or imaginative characters. Whereas in narration or narrating your experience, you are telling about your own self. So that is why while writing the experience, it should be in the first person. Next is description of characters and places. Mention places where an action is held because it reflects the ambience. Try to adorn your experience with vivid details of crucial objects. So suppose your experience is including some place, okay, where it took place. Maybe it may not be in Mumbai. So when you're beginning or somewhere in middle, you need to write down where this thing is happening. Like suppose you're giving an experience of your childhood event, so you need to give like what and where it happened. A little spice. What is narrative without some spice? Try to include an unpredictable twist, unexpected unending, or coincidences to make your narration interesting. So, just as when you watch any horror movies or comedy or anything, you get touched by certain lines, right? You feel like, okay, this dialogue is good, this narration is good. So, in the same way, while writing your narration of experiences, that time try to add little bit of twist, where when the person is reading your experience should be touched by what you have written. Now this is one sample of how to write narrating your experience. The question is, learning something new can be a scary experience. So for this also, children, you need to give a title. Okay, do not forget to give a title for this as well. So learning something new can be a scary experience. So this is something, while giving this also, that is narrating your experience, you might get a starting line or a ending line. It will not be always that one topic will be given, random topic, like the first 4 or 5 that we saw, like a childhood event, achieving a goal. Apart from that, you can also get the starting line or the ending line, okay, just as in story writing how you'll get, in that way also you can get it. So here we have the starting line. So let's read this. Learning something new can be a scary experience. One of the hardest things I have ever had to do was learn how to swim. I was always afraid of the water, but I decided that swimming was an important skill that I should learn. I also thought it would be good exercise and help me to become physically stronger. What I didn't realize was that learning to swim would also make me a more confident person. New situations always make me a bit nervous, and my first swimming lesson was no exception. After I changed into my bathing suit in the locker room, I stood timidly by the side of the pool waiting for the teacher and the other students to show up. After a couple of minutes, the teacher came over. She smiled and introduced herself, and 2 more students joined us. Although they were both older than me, they didn't seem to be embarrassed about not knowing how to swim. I began to feel more at ease. So, children, you saw how beautifully this is being given. The topic means, something, okay, learning something new can be scary. So, in our life, okay, whatever things we do not know, when we experience something for the first time, it is always new for us. So that is why you can give your own experience of something that might have made you scared while learning something new. Okay, so in this way you give out your experiences. Okay, children, with this we have now completed with the explanation. Thank you for listening. Take care.